A very good morning, Team Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And my name is Ronald Kwamakusha. So this morning, it's a Saturday, and we are taking a look on key appointments which were made by President Emmerson Mnangagwa in this past week. He appointed Michael REZA as the chairperson of Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. What is the importance of Michael REZA in the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission? We need to take a look key roles which he is going to tackle during his tenure. Remember, we had Lois Matanda Moyo in the previous administration as the chairperson, but she has been moved to become the prosecutor general. And what is very important to note at this moment in time is that Michael REZA was within the National Prosecuting Authority as a serving prosecutor, doing day-to-day runs, going to court, prosecuting. And we need to establish the kind of experience REZA would bring to the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, which is going to make this vehicle more viable if they want to. So first thing is that there is need to have willingness for ZACC to actually do its job. And if there is political will to let ZACC do its job, then it is going to be the best moment for Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission to execute its duties without fear or favor. So major investigations, major roles in this whole process of ZACC is that we need to have the police which knows what needs to be done, which means, in my own view, there is a need to have a special department within the police force, which is going to work hand in hand with the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. But we already have a functional CID, which is there, which means this CID, if they are given tasks, they can look at several people and make sure that they bring up dockets which are well updated. And this will make up the investigation. So the investigator, who might be the police, they take statements, collect evidence to be used in criminal prosecutions, which means the role of the CID, it has been effective all along. But the problem is the political interference. That is the reason why you see these cases dying a natural death. More importantly, it dies when the prosecutors take over these issues. Second issue, we will need to see a Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission with powers to prosecute. I hope that Michael REZA is going to push for that, to have powers to prosecute on its own. So you see that there is going to be brief assessment of charges laid, and this will be the role of the prosecution. We'll see the prosecution going to see if the charges can be prosecuted at law. And if so, you see the charge sheet being brought forward. So you see if the charges are laid, the defendant then will be notified of the charge, and they could be sent summons and the date to say, okay, we are summoning you to CID Law and Order, or we are summoning you to Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. Now, ZACC now has arresting powers. They can arrest, but what they don't have are the prosecuting powers. They can arrest, but they don't have prosecuting powers. So there is a need to link some key prosecutors, very experienced prosecutors, to this whole thing called ZACC, so that they can do things as they are. Then committal proceeding. A committal hearing, a magistrate will listen to the evidence and decide if it's enough for the defendant to be put on trial. So that is very, very, very important. And at this juncture, you'd see that if REZA does his job as he promised, he said in a video, he's going to make sure that every docket every docket is complete before it goes. All the evidence needed is there. He has been a prosecutor, and he knows that this can pass the test from the magistrate's side. So you see that the magistrate will need to listen to the evidence, and if that evidence is available, then the defendant will be called on to stand trial. That is very important. Then the hearing, you will see that they will need to hear the submissions from the prosecution, to hear the submissions from the defendant. Then the trial will now take place, and you go for the trial, you go for the sentencing, and if there is appeal, then appeals will be made thereafter or later. But these are the most critical issues which must be considered when you are dealing with corruption in the nation of Zimbabwe. Most importantly, we need to understand that in the previous cases, evidence inoshayikwa, and that will lead the magistrate to dismiss this case because there's not enough evidence for the trial to commence, or for the hearing to commence, or for this case to hold any water. So this is what is very important at this moment in time. The appointment which was made by President Emmerson Mnangagwa, if it is backed up by willingness to prosecute, it is going to have a difference in terms of making sure that criminals are put behind bars, especially the people who are milking Zimbabwe dry. These people need to be behind bars because they are renting the youth of Zimbabwe useless because of their corrupt behavior. Nothing is working because of corruption. Go to VID, go to the passport office, to the registrar's office, everywhere. Corruption is everywhere. And we need a new culture of doing things. But this must start by making sure that the corrupt people at the top, they are brought before the law, and they are made to account for their crimes. So personally, I see this appointment as a political appointment, but if Mike REZA wants to do things differently, he does have an opportunity to do so because he is experienced in the prosecution. He rose through the ranks for a very long time. He's a very prominent person, well connected politically, which means he doesn't need to fear anybody. But are we going to have political will? Is the president going to allow Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission to do its job and do its work without facing any challenges and any problems? We do not know. So this is what is happening. We'll continue to watch and see how this thing is going to end.